subscribe. Darling Radio, like and subscribe. Darling Radio, like and subscribe.
All right, let me get some calls in here. Let's get Kay. Let's get Kay in here. What's going on, Kay? What's happening with it, Kay? All right, Kay. Unmute your microphone, brother. Oh, he got out of here. I don't know. Kay was ready. Let's get York in the building. Let's get York in the building. York, hop on. And shout out to everybody in here. We got a lot of folks in here. York, what's up, man? You've been raising your hand. Now here you go. What's happening? I hate when y'all slow the game down. Let's get Biatch. Is that your name? Let's get Biatch in here. The name is Biatch.
Hi. Good evening. Well, good morning. It's 4:30 in New York.
Yes, indeed.
How are you?
How are you, dear? I'm good. What's going on with you, beloved?
So I wanted to let you know I was listening last night, and I know that when you hear New Flag, but I do wanted to remind you that Long Island was a place for freed Black men to come pre-emancipation, especially in the South Shore, Nassau County area.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not FBA, but I do stand with my FBA brothers and sisters. Being a first generation American, my parents did move to Brooklyn, and
Trinidadian or Jamaican? Which one?
my father's Panamanian.
Okay.
So we came to Brooklyn, and even me, I was born in 84. I'm 40 now. And I remember going to school in Brooklyn and having Black leaders, African American, FBA teachers,
Yeah.
principals. And we were kind of taught in the trenches, like the African people were going to give us problems and we were going to call them African booty scratchers, right?
Mm.
That's how it was, you know. And as someone who is not an FBA, I try to speak to other Caribbean people about how they can get their reparations. And
Mm-hmm.
it should definitely be something that can bring FBA and Caribbean people together. Caribbean people are not eligible for reparations in America, but they can do something in their own spaces. My family is from Barbados originally before going to Panama to build the canal. And they've got a lot of documents. They've got a lot of stuff. They've got a lot of things people can research. And you can go directly to the family of the estate that your people were on and go talk to them. Like the Caribbean people have options too, instead of just like dragging down other people's movements and, you know, telling people they don't have culture or just trying to just jump in and parasite on everything people do. So there are options out there for my Caribbean people listening. Like, I'm just saying. And it's good to talk to you. And also Ramses is my best friend since the 7th grade.
You know him? Ah, that's funny.
Ramses is my best friend from the 7th grade. And listen, I understand that maybe he rubbed you the wrong way, but he understands. He, you know, comes from Haiti where, you know, you did 1804. You know what's up with the Haitians. He comes from a very proud Haitian family. And I know maybe you guys had a bumping of the heads, but it's all good. And I'm so happy I got to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, beloved. Thank you so
Have a
much.
good one.
Yeah, the people from Barbados are generally cool folks. My brother ASAP Rocky, he's part Barbadian. How do you pronounce it? Bajan. Um, I think his mother's from Alabama and his dad from Barbados, so he's half FBA. Him and his lovely queen Rihanna, who's from Barbados. Yeah, but yeah, as far as Ramses. Man, he could have just said he was Haitian. I mean, the dude didn't have to lie. That's the problem. You know, that's the come on, because and I think he got mad because we figured it out. See, that's the thing. So many people are used to cosplaying us, and they've been used to blending in and passing themselves off as a foundational Black American. And now that we are looking and talking to people and seeing, hey, wait a minute, man, you ain't really passing the smell test, brother. Where are you from? A lot of people, let's be real. I noticed this, a lot of Caribbeans, especially a lot of Africans, you know what they really don't like? And I've been noticing this, and some of you noticed this. They don't like when people can recognize that they're African. Do you know they get offended, low key? Or they don't like when people recognize that they're Caribbean, but they don't like that. They really don't like that when some of these people, you're like, hey man, what are you from Uganda? Where you from? What nigga? What are you saying, nigga? What is that shit? Nothing, dude. You just look for it. What do you say with a stereotype, nigga? It's a stereotype. Damn, brother. I'm just saying. Yeah, don't y'all notice that? They low-key get offended if you can recognize that they're not FBAs. That's why they run around hollering about xenophobia when we recognize that you're not from our lineage. They get offended and start yelling xenophobia because a lot of them pride themselves on how much they can blend in. They really study us and watch what we wear, watch how we talk, watch how we walk. They really study us. And because we delineate, they feel like we're othering them. And if we other them, people are going to recognize that they came from a third world country. And they don't like them third world countries. They don't like admitting that they had to leave these places that wasn't popping. A lot of people are really ashamed of these spots. They really don't like these places. They try to put that on us. You niggas hate us. You hate Haiti. No, nobody hates Haiti more than a Haitian immigrant who comes over here. Y'all don't like Haiti. Kodak Black don't like Haiti. Remember Kodak Black? They interviewed him. He like, no, I ain't going to Haiti, and ain't going. I ain't never been to Haiti. But they run around with the Haitian flags and all of that. Kodak Black said he is not going to Haiti. Yeah, at least we'll go visit. Yeah. And some of the African dudes, they'll try to talk that Prince of Zamunda shit like they're going back and forth. You know, like we ask, hey man, how come you're not in your homeland? I go every month, nigga. I have an export-import business. So I go all the time. You know they don't. Them niggas don't set foot over there once they leave. In fact, some of the kids, they get threatened. That's how you scare them to act right. Abisola, if you don't get your homework together, I'm going to send you back to Lagos. No, mama. No, mama. Don't do it. Nigga, that's how you scare them. You scare the kids by telling them you're going to send them back over there. Let's be real. Let's be real. So when we start saying, hey, man, you look kind of different, brother. Where you from? You look like you from, hey, brother, that forehead is kind of big. Are you from Somalia? What, nigga? Somalia? What are you trying to say? No, nigga, I'm from Djibouti. They don't like it. They don't like when we recognize that they're not from here. Let's get RJ. Speaking of tether and Democrat shield, now RJ, hop on RJ. Now RJ, let me ask you. Unmute your microphone, RJ. RJ, unmute your microphone, boy. There you go. You hear RJ?
What's good, Tariq?
I'm good. Now, RJ, why do y'all get upset when we recognize that you guys are foreign? Why do y'all get upset by that?
I don't get upset. Like not everyone lives in America. Some people are for it, so it is what it is.
Yeah, but sometimes y'all seem like y'all get offended when we recognize that you are non-FBA. We can see, we can just see a vibe or some swag, and we're like, hey, man, are you from West Africa? And then sometimes y'all seem like you get offended.
Not me. not me. But I want to ask you a question though.
Yes,
But I want to make
it is
I
going.
want to
It's
make a statement.
going to be some Democrat shield shit.
No, I want to make a statement about sellouts and stuff like that.
Yeah, yes. Go ahead.
Um, yeah. Um, I think you're missing the forest for the trees, right? I think I see like you're focusing more on white supremacy now, and so it's good, but don't miss the forest for the trees. The bigger picture is white supremacy. Don't focus on traitors and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, Chairman Fred Hampton was betrayed, but who killed him? The police and the CIA. You feel me? And Dr. King,
Right.
um,
Slow down. Slow down. Yeah, the police was orchestrating his murder, but they got a black person who was an op to do it. You think? So they'll get somebody close to you or somebody who kind of looks like you to do the dirty work. And that's what we're looking at now. They'll get a lot of non-FBAs to do the dirty work for them. And that's why we're checking everybody's paperwork. They get people who got melanated skin, and then they'll put them in political office. And we're like, okay, what is this person going to do for the black community? And these people will do everything for immigrants instead of us. So that's a problem. And yes, we do realize
yes,
white supremacy.
yes, but
Go ahead.
like you always say though, like you always say, what institution or organization do white people not control? Right?
Right. They control all of them. Okay. What happened to your phone, RJ? RJ, did you drop some bush meat on your phone, sir? Can you wipe your phone down? Okay, let me let you wipe your phone down. I think he dropped his phone in a pot of egusi soup. Okay. I'll get you back on a little later, RJ. All right, let me get some more people in here. Y'all raise your hand if you are ready to chop it up with me. Raise your hand if you're ready. All right, let's get Teddy B. Teddy B in the place to be. Teddy B. All right. Teddy B, unmute your microphone. And Teddy B ain't saying nothing. All right. Let's get who is that? Gold Mamacita. Gold Mamacita. Hop in, Gold Mamacita. Where you at, Gold Mamacita? All right, Gold Mamacita ain't saying nothing. Come on now. Y'all get it together with y'all microphones. Y'all slowing me up here. All right. Let's try one more. All right, just raise your hand if y'all ready. Dan. Okay, let's try Ben. All right, let's try Ben Watson. All right, Ben Watson, what's happening? Ben?
Poor? No, you're poor because of your government. Look at it in Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans today are poor, not because of any white people. In fact, when white people were producing food, Zimbabwe was producing almost 10 times more food than it needs. When white people started to stop.
The hell? Is that a recording this dude is playing? Ben, what is that?
Nobody produces food. When white people just stopped, like, okay, let's stop producing.
Okay.
Let these black people do it. Guess what? Not even a single black person can feed even less than 200.
Okay, he's playing some recording. That's very weird. York, what's happening?
Hey, family. How is everybody?
We good, York.
Okay, I don't speak much. I was having problems with my mic.
Okay. So what's on your mind, York? Okay, shit. He's still having problems. Okay, York, we got to take you down, brother. All right, York sound like he might be a little sickly. All right, you'll be all right, York. Okay. All right, let's get one more good one, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get one more good call. Let's get YN Supreme. YN Supreme in the building.
Hey, what's happening? What's happening, Tyreek? What's up, everybody?
How you doing, brother?
Ain't nothing, man. I think it's hilarious how you're calling these people out, because I was online with some guys from, I think they were from Nigeria, and they would automatically delineate themselves from the rest of the people on the line and have their own thing going on. So when the shoe was on the other foot, it's just interesting how all these people get in their feelings when y'all been doing
Oh
this.
yeah. Oh yeah. They've been delineating from us forever, and it only becomes a problem when we do it. Let's get cultivating. Cultivating.
Good morning.
Hello, cultivating.
I hope you're doing all right with this fire stuff, you and your family, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Um,
we-
but you had me cracking up tonight with all the jokes that you have for Africans. Honestly, that shit, yeah. Thank you for the laugh. That's one. Two, I still have hope. I still have hope for us to come together one of these days. So that's all I gotta say. I come in peace, you know that.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you. All right. Yes, indeed. Shout out to y'all in here. Y'all in here so heavy right now. Y'all in here deep. Since y'all in here deep, y'all need to go to rootworkstyle.com. Get the best deodorant on the planet. Do y'all know how thorough Rootwork deodorant is? People love the Rootwork deodorant. That's the best deodorant in the game. People absolutely love it. All natural. Some people say they even feel healed by the Rootwork deodorant because we got that High John the Conqueror root in it. This is the first deodorant designed from foundational Black American culture. That comes from our culture, the culture of Rootwork and um, conjure and things like that. These were healing practices that we were doing as foundational Black Americans. We got to start embracing our culture. You know, it's very important that we start re-embracing all of our culture, all of it, from the root work, from the music. And I want us to take it all back and start gatekeeping it. Okay? So go to rootworkstyle.com. Also go to hiddenhistorymuseum.com to get the book, Hidden Heroes from A to Z. All right. I'm up out of here, guys. You guys have a great one. Y'all be good. Puppy Akute and Lola Vuve to the family.
Hi, I'm Mateo. Do you want to learn about Hidden Heroes? Hidden Heroes from A to Z is a cool book that tells the stories of amazing Black heroes you might not know about. You'll meet inventors, you'll meet explorers, and leaders who change the world. It's fun, inspiring, and you can learn so much. Get your copy now at hiddenhistorymuseum.com. Let's discover our hidden heroes.
You guys, y'all come on in. Give you a second to come on in the room. Fam, there it is. How are you guys doing this evening? Just giving you guys a chance to come on in the room. Hope you guys are having a good week so far, middle of the week. I'm going to do my my YouTube show tomorrow morning. So y'all go to my YouTube channel, which is Tariq Radio, and tap in and subscribe if you have not already subscribed. Excuse me. If you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to do a live broadcast tomorrow morning, my weekly broadcast. I was supposed to do it today. I'm so busy working on the new hip hop documentary. I'm working feverishly on that. That's coming real soon. I'm so ready to get that out, and we're just meticulously going through everything to get all the details in the film that's needed, man. This is going to be a heavy one. I really can't wait for y'all to check this out. This one, people are very excited about it. I'm so ready to crush these lies because, as you know, this is the 50th anniversary of hip hop, quote unquote. The anniversary, it actually goes longer than that. It's hip hop is older than that, but we address all that stuff in the film. And because it's the anniversary, There are a lot of myths being promoted, and I'm just so tired of it. I'm so ready to just set the record straight. But you guys, that's coming. That's coming, so don't trip. But we in here. Shout out to everybody in the room. We got a comedy event coming up at the Hidden History Museum, September 16th. Tickets will go on sale in a couple of days. We're just dealing with the city. The city, they're throwing some new permit stuff on us, so we got to get that out of the way because we've been having these popping events. So the city is like, we got to go through some extra layers of permits now. So they're running that game on us. So yeah, it's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, but it is what it is. A lot of behind the scenes stuff going on, but it is what it is. But we got an event coming up on the 16th, and I will announce that in a couple of days once they give us the new permits we need. So now they're like, we got to have certain permits now. So you know how they do. But it is what it is, but we're doing what we do. What's up, D Tubman? I see you in there. What's up, Sir Major? I'm going to open up the phone lines in a minute to chop up game with the family. Before I do, did y'all see? Yeah, we know what went down in Florida with the white supremacists shooting up the Dollar General store. Now there was some copycat stuff. We always got to watch out. Whenever we see a situation like that, there will be some copycat wannabe shooters. And in Mississippi, a white supremacist tried to go up in a black church with a gun yesterday. Well, I think it was yesterday or the day before. And luckily, the brothers and sisters were on code and didn't let him up in there. Luckily, they were on code and they did not let him in the church. And, they called the authorities and they were able to get him up out of there and pack him up. But we got to watch out for these copycat cats out here, man, because, again, these white supremacists are looking at attacking us as a religion, and they will go on the jihad. So we have to have our eyes and ears open. We got to be more codified than ever, ladies and gentlemen. And family, what we got to do, because it's election season, we cannot let these political figures sit here and try to rebrand what happened, because a lot of the Biden administration, they're making vague references to what went down in Jacksonville, but they're not putting it in the right context. It's up to us to not let them frame this as a mentally ill or a gun issue. We can't let them do that, family. The Biden administration, they put out some kind of press release talking about, well, gun control and access to guns and guns this, guns that. No, 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 no. This is not a gun issue. This is an anti-black racism issue. See, we got to stop allowing them to run the Jedi mind trick on us. When they went and shot up that Asian massage parlor some years ago, they weren't talking about no damn guns. They were talking about stop Asian hate. They focus on not harming Asians. They made a whole movement out of it. When we get shot up, they start talking about some damn gun reform and gun control, knowing that's just the dog wagging, chasing the tail. You're never going to get gun control in this country. They're not going to stop people from owning guns in America. Never. They're never going to thwart gun ownership in America. And that's not the issue. The issue isn't the gun control. It's you punishing these white supremacists for harming us. Because if you say gun control, hell, they'll go in there and just start running folks over with their car. It ain't about the gun. These white supremacists weaponize everything. If it's not a gun, it's a car. If it's not a car, it's a bomb. Yeah? So it's not about the weapon that's used. It's about the people that's being targeted. And they weaponize everything. So we got to really be clear about how we allow them to try to reword things. We got to really check that stuff. Now, we got a lot of folks in here. Shout out to everybody who's been getting the Root Work deodorant. Shout out to everybody who's been getting that Root Work, ladies and gentlemen. Man, so let's get a couple of folks in here. Let's get what's your name? Well, let's get Sonny, because Sonny's talking.
What's good? What's good? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Sonny?
What's popping? Hey, two things. I know you touched. Have you seen like it's some video that went kind of viral about some girl was talking about Francis Cress Wilson or something like that?
Yeah, I saw that, and you know what? I'm gonna address that tomorrow. I gotta go. That's a slow bake. I gotta really go into. I'll go in that tomorrow because I gotta show people the video. So yeah, I'll touch on that tomorrow. Let's get what's your name, brother? Ahmed.
Hey,
Who?
Ace.
Ace. What's up, Ace?
Yo, Tariq. So, this might be a bit off topic, but I just came back from Brazil shooting music videos, and I know obviously you're successful with projects such as documentaries and releasing books and that. Now, I just want some advice of like the perfect rollout to obviously release my music video. So it's actually a conscious song. It's called Black Rebel. I shot it in Rio de Janeiro, and I wanted to bring like the aspect of like the Afro-Brazilian community to the world, because we don't really know much about that outside of Brazil, because they speak a different language and don't speak
Okay, brother. Okay, my man's trying to promote his video. Okay, this is not the platform to promote just random stuff. All right, all right. Well, you can roll it out, whatever. But my man is basically trying to promote your stuff. And all right, we're talking about something else. All right, all right. What's your name?
Hey Tariq.
What's up, man?
Hey, so I was looking up your Wikipedia and it says your name is Tariq Allah Nasheed. Are you a 5%er? What's your slave name, nigga?
Okay, this is one of these Somalian tethers.
Why are you calling me a Somalian? Why are you calling me a tether, brother?
And my thing is, you sound hungry. You sound very hungry. I don't know why y'all hungry little frail dudes try to sound tough. I can hear the hunger in your voice. Your little chest is all small and your little rib cage is showing. Why do y'all try to sound tough? What's wrong with you guys? I mean, do y'all know how unconvincing that is?
Hey, brother, listen. First of all, I just want to say, like, can you
But slow down. But really, y'all, please stop trying to talk tough. It doesn't work, man. You sound frail, sickly, your head big, your body little, look like a little Pez dispenser. It's just not convincing. Please stop doing that and embarrassing yourself. You sound frail, hungry, and sickly. Now talk like you got some sense. Now what's on your mind? Why are you so angry at foundational Black Americans, sir? Talk. What's on your mind?
I'm not really angry at foundational Black
Yes, you
Americans.
are. Yes, you are. With that kind of weird energy, there's some kind of passive aggressive anger there.
I'm only angry with you, brother.
No, it's not me. I'm just the vessel for your anger. Why are you angry at foundational Black Americans?
Because you keep saying that we fled, we have no culture, and that's not true. We didn't flee.
Where are you now?
I'm in Denver, Colorado.
You fled, sir. That's called fleeing.
That's not really called fleeing,
It
brother.
is,
That's
sir.
called migrating.
No. That's fleeing, sir.
Okay, where's your family from?
From North Carolina and Alabama.
Why aren't you in North Carolina or Alabama? Did you fled?
No.
Why are you in California?
Because this is my country.
This is your country,
yes,
right?
It is. Yep. It's my country because you know what? My tax dollars are funding the state of California. When I was in Alabama, my tax dollars were still funding California. So I'm moving to where my tax dollars are going, where my family built. You are coming to a place that other people built, and you're being very disrespectful. That makes you a fleeing tether, sir.
I'm not being disrespectful. What I'm saying is I also pay taxes as well.
Oh
no. I have a right to be here just as much.
No. When you came here, you weren't paying anything. You came over here and you pulled up a chair and you started eating, sir. You couldn't pay taxes because you didn't have anything in your homeland. That's why you fled. So you don't come here being disrespectful, talking about what's your slave name. That's disrespectful to foundational Black Americans, period. When there is slavery over there in East Africa now that you fled from, sir. You understand?
There's no slavery in Somalia.
Sir, they're getting those Somalis and East Africans and taking their asses up there to Morocco and Algeria and them other places and selling them on the coast right now, sir, if you don't stop.
It's not in Somalia, but
they're taking Somalians and
exists.
Some of those other East Africans, Somalis too. They take a lot of y'all from East Africa and take you up there to North Africa and start selling you off, sir. They're doing that now. So don't play games.
I think I've heard something similar to it, but it's just that when Somalis try to leave the country and go to Europe, you know, they have to go through North Africa, and that's
Mm-hmm.
when, you know, the Libyan pirates and all that stuff. That's when they
Yes.
kidnap them, hold them for ransom, and all that stuff.
Yes.
But slavery
Exactly.
does exist.
That's slavery, sir. They're
But I'm just
selling them
saying,
off as slaves. So don't try to play that game because you fled from the slavery going on in your homeland now.
I never fled because of slavery.
Sir, but yeah,
I didn't flee at all,
you
brother.
didn't do anything about it, sir. You got slavery in your homeland now, and you're fleeing the
I am doing something about
degradation,
it
sir. You're fleeing, yes, and you're welcome
because
because if
when
it
we
weren't
come
for
to America, when we
Baba Doodoo, if it weren't for us, you would still be over there brushing a llama's fur. All right, so you better show thanks to us. All right,
look,
go ahead, Baba Doodoo. Go ahead, bro.
I feel like foundational Black Americans also fled too, in a sense, because
We didn't flee nothing.
I'll tell you why.
We didn't flee nowhere.
I'll tell you why, brother.
But you know what you're about to do is just make up some jive ass
I'm not going to
scenario.
make up something.
We didn't flee nowhere.
Okay, because if you look up the Great Migration,
Don't
black
okay,
people,
okay. The Great Migration, and a lot of tethers try to make that out to be some kind of fleeing thing. There were some black people who moved north to where their tax dollars were, and most black people stayed in the South. So we weren't fleeing anything. We were going where our tax dollars go. Our labor built the North too. We built the entire United States. So we're moving around to where we built. That ain't fleeing, sir. This is ours.
what I would say is the reason why the Great Migration happened is because of rabid racism and because of poverty.
Well,
Now, because of that,
so,
millions of foundational Black Americans fled the South and to the
well,
North.
wasn't fleeing because black folks were going back and forth to the South. We didn't just go up north and stay like you guys. You tethers, you come here, you never go back. We always went back and forth to the South, sir. So it wasn't no fleeing. We went back to the South. We were cool, and there was racism in the North. We weren't tripping on the racism. There were more job opportunities because of the war economy. So we took advantage of some of the job efforts that were popping off. So we were used to the racism. We weren't fleeing anything, sir. We were just moving to where our tax dollars were going. That's a big difference. This is our house. And if you are in one part of the house, that's cool. Another part of the house might be a little warmer at a certain time. You move to that other side of the house, but it's still your house. It's a big difference from fleeing and then eating off somebody else and then being disrespectful. You understand that?
But I feel like it's also my house as well because
No,
it's the
no, it's
sweat of
not.
Africa.
No, it's not, sir. It's not because you didn't build this.
The
You
sons
didn't
and
build.
daughters of Africa did.
Sir, please, because you didn't build nothing over there. You didn't build nothing there, nor did you build anything here. You just pulled up a plate and a chair and started eating, and then started being disrespectful, which is what you're not going to do. So you got to understand your place in this game. You understand?
But what I'm saying is, I'm just using your own logic in regards to the fleeing part. I don't believe that you guys fled, and I also don't believe that we fled as well. You
But you
know,
did. You did.
I did not flee. I did not flee. I was not a refugee. I'm an immigrant.
Right, but
That's not fleeing.
it is fleeing.
If you go from one part of the country or one part of the world to another part of the world because of better economic standards, is that really fleeing? I
Yeah,
mean, what?
because that means you couldn't get it popping on your own. And the problem is y'all come over here and you have so much disrespect for the people who made it possible for you to flee. See, that's where you're going to cut the bullshit out. Because if it weren't for us, you wouldn't have a place to come to. That's why the disrespect is just not going to happen. You understand?
Let me tell you something. Um, Dr. Khalid taught us that Africa is not our home; it is our throne. 196 million square miles of the planet Earth is our home. So I have a right to be here
But your
just as much
ass
as you.
ain't, but you're not on the throne. You're not on your throne. You're over here on our throne that we built. We built a throne for you to come up here and chill on.
And
So you're not on your throne back home because it's not popping.
a lot of
And
us send money back home. So it's
oh,
not
yeah,
like we're
y'all
here
always
being
say that.
selfish.
Y'all
We're
always say
we're, we're,
that.
we're literally financing our brethren in Somalia.
So
We're
do well
supporting
then,
our own.
sir. You're not. You're just fleeing, and
My
everybody's
name is
taking
Ahmed.
to flee. Y'all taking turns to flee, sir. Y'all, you don't have it popping over there, sir. Stop trying to sell the
It
Wakanda.
isn't popping over there because of a global system of white supremacy.
There's
You
white
should know
supremacy,
about
and
it, brother.
there's white supremacy here, and we ain't fleeing. So yeah,
But it's
what's your
not. It's
excuse?
not. I mean,
It's not what.
the economic situation in Somalia is way worse. You know,
Because y'all flee.
the
That's why.
European powers and
Because
the
y'all flee.
Western world in general, they
Because you
have Africa in a chokehold.
because
So
you flee and don't make it better. That's why it's in a chokehold. The
it's
economic
not really
situation was
fleeing
bad
though.
here too, but we didn't flee. We stayed here and said, "Hey, we're gonna get some of ours." See, that's the big difference, sir.
There's many foundational Black Americans who left to Liberia, to Canada,
So,
to Europe. Is
sir,
that
stop.
fleeing?
A handful that's not even significant, sir. They
Okay,
don't even count. A
it's a
very
handful,
small
right?
handful.
It's
A
a handful,
very
right?
small handful, and they don't even matter. They're
You
so
would
insignificant,
say
it doesn't matter.
it's less than 1%, right?
Way less. It doesn't. It's a
Okay,
blip on the radar. It doesn't even matter. The
less than
insignificant.
one
I don't give
percent.
a. I don't care what less than or whatever. It's so small. It's not even significant. That's not. It's a non sequitur.
But I'm also saying less than 1% of the Somali population left Somalia. The majority, millions and millions of Somalis are still in Somalia. So
Because there's a limit to how you can flee. Hell, if it were not a limit, all of you would leave. To be honest, so many of you would leave. Y'all don't want to be over there like that. Let's keep it a
with
buck.
these
They
open
just
borders,
they just have a limit. There's only a few places you can flee to.
but
You understand?
everybody would too. Even those in the UK,
Dude,
if they could pick, they would
okay,
come
listen,
to
no,
America.
no, because you guys are trying to flee to other places, and other places are not taking you. Let's keep it a buck. Y'all go to other places and get rejected.
But with these open borders right now, it's easier now than
No,
ever to flee.
because
But
no, we're
still,
not going to
Somalis are
rewrite. No,
not
no,
leaving.
let's not rewrite history. You guys try to leave all the time. Other places don't take you, and a lot of you can't make it over here. And the lucky ones who do make it over here, that's like the lottery. You're so grateful. That's why don't be disrespectful, because the
I
only
am
reason.
grateful to be here.
No, because no, if you open up your goddamn mouth talking about what's your slave name, nigga,
I was just joking at first.
we don't do that now.
Well,
No, not
because
not
because
not
your
because
middle
not,
name.
no disrespect to me or any other foundational Black American at all. Because if it were not for me and my ancestors making a lane for you to come over here, again, you would be still over there in a hut eating some damn injera, digging a turd out your ass right now. All right? That's the long and short of it. So you're just not going to be disrespectful in any sense of the word.
But I feel like your middle name is disrespectful to
It
my
doesn't mean
religion.
that doesn't matter. You nigga, I can call myself Moonbeam Chocolate Cake. It doesn't matter. I'm on my homeland that my family built, nigga. So I can call myself anything I want to call
I
myself.
feel like you're stealing from our
It,
religion by
sir,
placing our God as your
sir,
middle name. Can you
stop it, sir.
apologize?
You're not an Arab. That's another problem. You guys don't have an
I'm Muslim.
identity. You're not an Arab. And that's another thing. Y'all want to identify with the Arabs so bad.
No,
You're not
fuck
an
the
Arab,
Arabs.
and that's
I don't
why.
support Arabs at all.
And that's yes, you do.
I
You
swear to
want
God, I do not.
a lot of you are wannabe Arabs, and that's why you don't have a cultural identity that's any significance. And
That's
this is why the culture has failed over there, because you want to be something that you're not, and you're not standing on any pride in your homeland, sir.
it's rich coming
That's
from you when your name is
yes.
Tariq
Doesn't
Nasheed.
but
Look in the mirror.
but I'm a foundational Black American who can
Why
call
do you have an
myself
Arabian
anything.
name?
But because I'm a foundational Black American and I can do what the hell
Doesn't
I
make
want to
sense.
on my homeland, I can do whatever I want to do on my homeland, sir. But you can't. You have to flee.
I'm also in my homeland in a sense because
No,
Black people are the
no, you're
first in
not.
North
No, you're
America.
not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not, sir. This is not your homeland, sir. This is the land you fled to, thanks to us, and we gave you a lane, and you should be very thankful, sir. Right?
I am thankful to those who came before, but
But
I'm
you're
just
not.
saying I have a
You're
problem.
not.
I have a problem with your rhetoric, saying that we fled,
You
we have
did,
no
and
culture and
you
all that
fled, and
stuff.
you know you fled, sir. You know the
That's not
stuff.
fleeing, though. Okay,
Yes,
so
it is.
every
See, no,
person.
no, 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 no. You did flee, and you guys know you fled, and you have a lot of shame about fleeing. That's why you want to project a lot of your stuff onto us, and we're not letting you project your failure onto us because you're part of the tether class. And the tether class is always coming around us trying to project and always trying to undermine and do little weird shit that got you undermined back in your homeland. And we're not allowing that to happen, sir. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. But
All
you talk
right.
about slavery. You talk about slavery. There's also still a form of oppression and slavery going on here. You're a slave to your car note. I mean, some people are
Dude,
actual
that's a
literal
reach.
slaves in a way.
That's a
So
reach. You're just reaching at this point, sir.
what I'm
You're
saying
just
is,
reaching.
it's not really popping like that over here as well because of
If it
not in
weren't,
comparison to
dude,
Somalia.
if it weren't, y'all wouldn't be busting your asses to flee over here if it wasn't popping like that, sir.
Do you
Don't,
consider every migrant who
Baba Doodoo, go ahead. Baba Doodoo, go ahead.
do you consider every person who immigrates to this country as somebody who fled?
Not everybody,
Then
but
why is it just us? Do you hate us?
because you actually fled and you have contempt for the people that help you get the hell up out of the failed homeland of
Because
yours,
of the
sir.
global system of white supremacy. That's why Africa is in that condition. You know that. You fight white supremacy, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Don't you
But we
agree with me,
didn't
brother?
but we didn't flee though. You know, I respect what they're doing over there in Gabon right now. They're getting the white supremacists up out of there.
Me too. Me too.
They're staying and fighting on their homeland. I stand with that.
Absolutely.
I
Me
love
too.
that.
Me too,
I got a
brother. Me
lot
too.
of respect for them brothers. I do not have respect for anybody who flees after they fail their homeland and then come over here after me and my ancestors help you get a lane to come and eat, and then you have any type of damn disrespect. I got a real problem with that.
It's not disrespect. I mean,
It's
what I'm
much
saying is,
disrespect. Anyway, let me get some more people because I don't want to hear
all right.
talk
Thank
about.
you.
CC, come on in here, young lady.
Okay, stop making me laugh. That boy is hilarious.
Lord.
Real quick, peace, love, and reparations to the room. Just hear me out for a hot second. First of all, I hope everybody listening, that was so asinine. And as a woman, it's sad when I hear particularly melanated immigrant men making all of these excuses for the cowardice of their lineage. Like, it's super sad. It's almost hurtful to hear. But anyway, everything he said is so asinine.
Yeah.
He says we fled. We can travel anywhere in the US and be comfortable. And
Right.
right, on the continent of Africa, some of them can't even go 15 minutes from their village or their tribe without worrying about getting killed, let alone if you're not fleeing, why didn't you go to another country in Africa?
Right.
Like, it makes no sense. And then in closing, the part that we all need to understand is they have a schizophrenic, I call it a schizophrenic identity crisis. Statistically, they say it's hard for all immigrants to travel anywhere in the world and have to give up their culture or try to assimilate. But to come and have to be in the shadow of the great black and beautiful, black American freedmen, they try to shoehorn into our culture so badly. It's
Yeah.
just sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, sis. Oh man. Yeah, man. And you notice when I hate when people try to get us to not look at our direct lineage here. Y'all notice they always come over here and try to Africanize us. We all from the motherland and shit. We all Africa's our throne. We all from. I, I'm so sick of people trying to sell us the Wakanda package. I'm not dissing Africa. Much love to Africa, but I don't come over here trying to sell us the Wakanda package. We ain't trying to hear that. Because y'all always over here selling the package. If it's so popping, why aren't you over there selling the package? You're always over here trying to tell us, y'all need to be over there. It's really popping where I just fled. I mean, where I just left from. Oh, we're just not buying it no more. We're just not going to buy it no more. We know there's a reason you got the hell up out of there. I'm not trying to denigrate the brothers and sisters there. Again, I love what they're doing in Gabon right now. They're stepping up. I like when some of those African nations are getting the imperialist up out of there. I'm with them 100%. I stand with them. Julius Malema, that's my idol. I love that brother. I support that brother anytime I get. I love what they're doing. They're standing up for their homeland. I'm right there with you. I done been over there to them African countries. When I see them standing 10 toes down, I've given donations to some of the people. Man, we done funded orphanages to help the brothers and sisters out of farmers over there. Stay on your farmland and get your crops popping. showing nothing but love. But boy, what I can't stand is a damn flea and tether who brings their asses over here and then want to talk slick to us. Man, please, those days are over. Those days are long gone. What's up, V? What's up, bro? V, hop on, V. Turn your microphone on, V. All right, V.
Hey, Tariq, are you there?
I'm here. What's going on, V?
I would just like to say I have a lot of respect for this kind of political project that I've seen over the last couple of years. You've been kind of cultivating this kind of foundational Black American asserting of identity.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But a political project. What makes you think it's a political project? Because it's not political at all. But go ahead. Well, what makes you think it's political?
Maybe we have a different terms here for political. But I very much respect, is what I'm saying, this entire project you've had about asserting this kind of foundational Black American identity.
Right, just a lineage, just understanding our lineage. That's all. But go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I very much respect it because
right.
I have not seen anyone doing what you are doing right now in this kind of overarching kind of space. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think it's very interesting, even in that contrast there, the last guy who was just speaking, I think it was Somalian, this kind of East African.
Right.
At least what I've noticed, and again, I'm an outsider here, just giving my observations. From what I've noticed, a lot of the time, or at least in the time I've been in America, there's almost this weird animosity, especially with this kind of East African diaspora towards foundational Black Americans. Almost this kind of like envy or jealousy.
Now, you said since you've been in America, how long have you been in the States?
I've only been in the States the last couple of years. I'm Italian.
Okay.
But I'm just giving you my own kind of view on things I've seen here. And I think
did you come from Italy via Canada? Because you kind of have a Canadian accent.
No, I went straight to the U.S. So again, I mean, I'm totally out of my range here. I'm making these comments. I find it very interesting that at least when I was in the U.S., kind of seeing this weird kind of animosity of some of this kind of the purely African immigrants having this kind of animosity towards the FBA, the Foundation
Right.
Black Americans.
Right.
I think that's very interesting, and so it's very good to see that this project you're doing of kind of you know what I mean, making a stand of the people who built the United States, the FBA.
Right. So, are you in the U.S. or are you in Italy now?
No, right now I'm in the U.S. Yes.
Okay. Now, why don't you have an Italian accent?
Very long story. I was originally born in the United States of America.
Okay.
My mother's Italian, and so I spent my teenage years in Italy, and I just came back here for the first time in a while.
Okay, because I've been to Italy. I've been all over Italy, and they have a very, very thick accent all over Italy. Even when they try to speak English, the accent is very, 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 very thick. But anyway, but I digress. But thank you so much, V. I appreciate you, man. All right, let me get some more folks in here. All right, we got a lot of people in here. Let's get Hillary Banks, and then Toju. Hillary Banks. What's up, Hillary Banks? And Matimba. We get Hillary Banks, Toju, and Matimba.
Oh wait, is my mic on?
Oh, that Hillary? What's up, Hillary?
Yeah. Hey, as I'm not pushing any agenda or anything. It's Hillary Banks' attorney. It's a
got it.
It's a joke. I rewatched Fresh Prince and I was like, wait a minute, I think I agree with Hillary Banks. But I just had a question because I grew up. I don't know if you're familiar with Ryo Nephramin. And
what is that? Who is that?
He's a leader of a Kemetan movement, ancient Egyptian Pan-African movement over here in the U.S., based out of New York.
Okay. Well, what year did he get started?
Ooh, man, they started back in like the 60s, like the late 60s.
Is that kind of like the Yahweh Ben Yahweh, those guys?
No, Malachi York stole his he jocked his style and like turned it into some weird shit.
Okay, got it. I knew it was something.
Yeah, like if
something like okay, but
yeah, like if you in the culture, you know about it at least marginally. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
But
so are you still with that organization or what?
No, I still practice the spiritual teachings of it, but I'm not a part of the cult. I like to tell people I grew up in a good cult.
Okay.
Like it was still a cult though. You feel me?
Okay.
But it was
what was the basic religion? Was it based on Hebrewism or Islam?
Oh
What was the
man, it was based on ancient Egyptian spiritual doctrine.
Okay.
Like that's the best way I could put it. It was based off the ancient Kemetic philosophy. Now the closest thing I could compare it to is Buddhism.
Okay, got it.
So it's about meditating and elevating your spirit and preparing yourself for death.
What ancient spiritual texts were they teaching? Were they teaching
the Egyptian Book of the Dead?
That's what I thought.
Yeah. It was a lot of that, and he actually wrote his own book, which I like to call it the Committing Bible, because again we're in a cult. But he wrote his own book called the Meduna Ter, which means the word of God, and they used to call the hieroglyphics in ancient Egyptian and ancient Kemetic is called Meduna Ter. It literally just means the writing words of God.
Okay. Whatever happened to the leader of the cult?
He's still alive, actually.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, he kept a low profile. I remember when I was younger, there was a whole situation when I was about 10 or 11. There was a situation where the FBI were investigating us.
Oh damn.
Yeah, it got real. It got real. But when I say it's a good cult, the only bad thing that I could say about it is, the usual stuff like embezzling of funds and shit like that, like the money part.
Like a whole bunch of the dude's got a bunch of wives and all that.
Yeah, he got like 6 wives. And that's not even really the bad part. My dad, I got 2 mothers. My dad had 2 wives, but my dad followed it differently than he did. You know what I'm saying? They came up together, and Raul Nefer is the leader, and I got big respect for him. But he just did a lot of shady stuff with the finances and the way that he ran his house. I wasn't really, feeling like I know his children. You know what I'm saying? And they were telling me some things. Nothing like no weird sexual abuse or nothing, but just the way that he would neglect them attention wise. Like he didn't really focus on his house as much as he focused on getting that money.
Okay. Wow.
So it's classic cult shit.
Yeah. Well, that cult shit, man. Kind of stay away from that. But if you got
that's why I'm not in it right now. And the interesting part is that my wife she's of German heritage, and we have mixed children.
You got a white after all that cultism. You went and got a white woman, brother.
Yeah, man. Like what? And I didn't pick it. I didn't choose it. It just the shit just happens, bro. It just fucking happened.
Boy,
and
all that Kemetic netter and hieroglyphics.
Because it doesn't matter, because you know what they taught me? First and foremost, you're supposed to love human beings.
Okay.
That's what they taught me at first. Before you're black, you're a human. Before you're fucking white, you're a person.
Man.
So and she's not the first person I loved. I've loved Thai women. I've loved Ethiopian women. I had an Eritrean girlfriend for 3 years when I was in college. She left me.
What's your background? What's your ethnic background? Where's your family from?
Native American and Haitian.
Hey, oh, there we go.
So yes, I'm a basic Black American, but my parents did some digging.
Well, you're Haitian. You're not quite. Well, you're not FBA.
So my grandfather's grandfather was brought here from Haiti.
Right, but it's still not FBA. It's still not Foundation of Black Americans. So.
No, not really. Oh. Unless you want to count the Native American part, but that's my dad's side is Washita Indian, and his mother is Hopi Sioux. So she's Sioux, and she married and had children with. But whole time, this is what's crazy, Tariq. Look, listen to this, right? My grandmother, until she moved to Texas, to live with her mother, she thought she was Creole.
Mm.
And as a child, she was sold into, I guess, like, I can't call it modern slavery. It was just, but beyond the time, because, you know, slavery didn't end at 1865 like they all say it did. But
Right.
she was sold to a bunch of country ass white folk in Louisiana. The type of motherfuckers, like, she was telling me stories last time I was talking to her, as a matter of fact, when I was over there a few months ago. She was telling us stories about how the white people that kidnapped her, would threaten her with tying her up and throwing her to the alligators, because that was something that they used to do.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Like the
Wow.
backwoods of Louisiana. These fucking these quote unquote salt of the earth white people, they literally would, like, that shit is not a meme. They really did that shit. They really used to take our children and our fucking women and our kids and throw them into the lake and hunt alligators with them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And they would, when she would act up, they would threaten her with that shit.
Wow.
And then she moved with her mother, and she said, I didn't even know that I was Indian. And my that's a weird thing too. Most Native Americans don't even, they say Indian. They don't call themselves natives.
Right.
But she said, I didn't
All
know
right.
I was an Indian until I moved with my mom, and she told me.
I had to land your plane. Let me get. So I got to get some more calls in. But yeah, interesting story. And that was funny. I had to land the brother's plane because I got to get some more of these calls in here. But the dude grew up in this black cult, you know, with a gazillion wives and 2 or 3 mothers, and they studying ancient Kemetic stuff. And this dude went and got every race of woman. My man, that's funny. My dude, he went from Whitey's on the moon to Whitey's in the room. He got that white woman. My dude, I ain't mad at you, brother. He's in there chilling. I'd like to dedicate this. A rat done bit my sister Nell. A rat done bit my sister. Whitey's in my room. I can't pay no doctor bills. Whitey's in my room. 10 years from now, I'll be paying still. Whitey's in my room. All right. Whitey's in the room, brother. I ain't mad. Let me get what's your name? Matimba.
Yes. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Matimba. How are you, brother?
I'm very good. I'm Matimba Michael Shungwani from South Africa.
Yes, indeed. How are you?
I'm very good. I heard you speaking about Mr. Julius. He's a good guy, that
Yes.
one.
Yes, I love Julie. Yes.
I just want to comment a bit in your debate between Ahmed from the East and you. You remember the last conversation you had with the guy, with the Somalian guy.
Yes.
Yeah, what you said is true. They're fleeing because we have a lot of them in South Africa. There's a lot of Somalians here. But one thing that I want to say to you, it's not every African countries that are fleeing from their own nations. And it's not every African countries that is poor. Did you ever been to South Africa yourself?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And I
You know,
really love the people there.
you know how I won't say that there's much development, but you know how South Africa is developed, right?
Yeah.
You remember we didn't flee from apartheid when the white were suppressing us.
Right.
That's what we're advocating here, that Zimbabwe must not flee from their own government. Gabon must not flee from their own government. If you can go to Botswana, one of our neighboring country, you won't believe that that's an African country. Because why? You were right when you tell him straight that don't flee from your country, fight for your own development. Because now you remember, our oppressors were white supremacists, but now the people are oppressing their own people. It's their own people, their own government. So for us, let me be honest with you. ANC, you know that the ruling party now in South Africa is ANC, right?
Yeah.
ANC is not suppressing us. I'm not an ANC member, I'm the EFF member. But what we are fighting now is the economy. Let me be honest with you. There's none person in South Africa that can sleep hungry in their stomach because our government provide for us. The only African country where the government feed their own people is South Africa. Education is free. Old age people get their money, their grant. Do you get what I'm saying? In South Africa, if you go hungry, it's by choice. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes. All right, but thank you so much, brother. I gotta land your plane. Let me get some more people in here. Thank you so much. Let's get Toju. Toju, hop on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So, I wanted to ask your opinion on pan-Africanism because I know, understandably, like some Africans showed lots of contempt for Black Americans, but I wanted to ask if it has like affected your position on pan-Africanism.
Well, first. Now, where are you from and where are you calling from, brother? You sound like you're calling from a submarine. Are you on your way over here to the US right now?
No, I'm in Nigeria. I'm from Nigeria.
Okay.
I'm Yoruba to be exact.
Okay. So what I think about Pan-Africanism, well, I think a lot of the Pan-Africanism has kind of been one-sided, and it's only been foundational Black Americans that's been pushing for Pan-Africanism. On the continent, I don't think Pan-Africanism is in practice because none of those countries are as unified as they should be. And even within many of those countries, the tribal groups are not as unified as they should be. So there's not a real sense of Pan-Africanism in Africa. So we, as foundational Black Americans, we just don't want to continue to have the responsibility of upholding the mantle of Pan-Africanism if it's only going to be one-sided. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense, but I would say this, in my own opinion, I feel that the younger generation are seeing, they're starting to consider Pan-Africanism more, because I feel that it's like the older generation that hold these tribalistic views, because I've seen more and more people talking about, unifying the Black race, helping each other out, building economic ties with each other, all this type of stuff. So I feel that, while yes, you are correct to an extent that
There
Africans
you
don't show for, yeah?
Yes, thank you so much, brother. Your phone is killing me. Boy, that phone is a beast, man. Let's get Panjeet in and then we'll get Somali. But let's get Panjeet, then Somali. Panjeet. Panjeet. Panjeet, turn your microphone on, sir. All right, Panjeet.
I think you guys are losing sight of what is truly most important here. Rest assured, whether the earth is round or flat, I will be happy to defecate on either.
Oh, okay. All right, so Panjeet, you just have a little bowel movement you wanted to tell people about, right? All right. Well, at least you're being very honest, Panjeet. At least you're being very, very honest. And that's why I don't eat y'all food. Okay. That's the main reason why I do not go to none of your restaurants, sir. So you just really solidified some things that I was already feeling in my spirit. All right. Anyway, thank you, Panjeet. Let's get Somali in here. Let's get him in here.
Hey, I wanted to ask you a question about one of your previous broadcasts.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
So, with the whole Whoopi Goldberg situation a year ago, you said something about the Jewish Holocaust was about race, because she said it was not about race, but you said it was 100% about race. I never really understood why you said that, so can you explain that to me?
Yeah, that's what the Nazis said. That's what they said. Hell, have you read Mein Kampf? That's what Adolf Hitler said in Mein Kampf. He said it wasn't about religion at all. The problem with the Jews is that they're the race. They're not white. And not only did he say they're not white, what Hitler said is that the Jewish race is a subset of Negroes. They kept referring to the Jews as niggers. You understand?
Yeah, so in his mind, the Jews are not white, but present day,
Right.
the Jews are considered white. So it
Right.
was white on white crime, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what Whoopi Goldberg said, I mean, how was it wrong though? I mean, it was white people killing white people. In his mind,
Right.
he didn't believe that the Jewish people were white, but they are white. So, I mean, how was what she said wrong when she said it was not about race?
Yeah. Well, if you listen to what the Nazis said, it was about race. You know, it was about race. And I think she thought that she was going to try to all lives matter the situation by saying that it wasn't about race, because she said it wasn't about race. And they said, yeah, it was, which it was. That's just the long and short of it. The problem was, yeah, they're white, but they're not white enough. And the thinking with the Nazis were, yeah, they are quote unquote white, but they have a Negro strain that they can sneak into the Aryan gene pool. So that was the whole thinking at the time. So it was 100% about race. It was all about race. Had nothing to do with religion, nothing else, wealth, nothing. That was a racial cleansing in their minds. So
Okay.
according,
Yeah. Go
right.
ahead.
Right. I'm just quoting them. This is what they said.
I
You know.
believe
So this is what
I believe you said something about, I mean, was there a mini Holocaust committed in Namibia, something like that, in one of your older broadcasts?
yeah, the Second Reich. Yeah, the Second Reich, they did a Holocaust and a racial cleansing in the Germans were over there in Namibia. They practiced on the black Namibians first before they did the Third Reich Holocaust in Nazi Germany. So yeah, those German white supremacists were on one in the early 20th century.
So although we can celebrate Hitler's actions in Europe, we cannot celebrate Hitler as a man because of what he did in Africa and Namibia and all that stuff. And that's my opinion.
Celebrate? Who's celebrating? Celebrate?
That's
That's
my
a very
opinion because, to, reduce the population
but
of white people, you also reduce the population of white supremacists. Because at this point, it's hard to tell. When you see a white person, I mean, the lines are blurred. Is it a good white person, a so-called good white person, which I don't believe exists, or is it a suspected white supremacist?
well, that would be up to the person in question to kind of determine. But you would celebrate. I'm just trying to understand the terminology you're using. Celebrate Hitler's actions. How do you
Well,
celebrate
I
that?
personally believe that the devil can do good, but the devil is not good. So what he did, because the Jewish control. I know that you don't get into that stuff. The Jewish and all that stuff. Riza Islam does get into it, but it's not your
Well,
field.
no,
You get
we're
into
not.
white supremacy as a whole.
No, no. You're not gonna put that on Reason now. Reason ain't never said nothing like no damn Hitler was good, and no. You're not gonna put that on my brother. Now
He doesn't say Hitler was
you don't.
good, but there is an
No,
NOI
but
video.
no, no. Because see, now you're doing tether shit. All right, that's not cool.
No, he did not
That
say Hitler was good, but
that's no. See, now I don't respect the conversation. Now you're doing tether shit. You don't bring Reza's name up and then put some bullshit on him. Reza didn't say anything of the sort. Reza didn't say anything remotely close to that bullshit you said, dude. So we're not gonna do that. All right. Yeah, we're not doing this. Tether babble. See, this is why we get on Tether's cases. Y'all start babbling and just saying real weirdo ass stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Come on now. Cut that goofy ass stuff out, man. You're not doing that. Not gonna sit up here and bring that man's name up and then put some bullshit on his name like that. No, we ain't doing that. What's up, AJ? Hop on, man. AJ, hop on.
Greatly intrigued. Holy smokes, I just jumped in here, and this is a fascinating space. Beautiful conversation you're having.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, I am of the Caucasian skin tone, if I can say that.
Yeah, I can hear the shepherd's pie being
Yeah.
in the back. Yes,
My previous generations paying homage to my ancestors. They came through Canada. So actually, as far as I know, absolutely zero slave ownership in my family history. And my dad worked on a genealogy book, so not trying to.
Are they French? Or your family, are
The
they
French
French?
background. Yeah, we like to drink our red wine and eat our cheese and bread. Yep, you got it, brother.
Okay. Indeed. Yes, indeed. So what's on your mind?
Well, brother, I heard the term depopulation agenda when I came in. So just a real quick introduction. I used to direct political talk shows for 5 years in California. That was on Comcast Channel 25, public network, actually for a man named William Wagner, really nice guy. Learned a lot of lessons about how corrupt the government was, got his public access program, and now some of his clips are getting used in law schools to teach students, stuff about America. But he always rails against the government, what he likes to do. And the point of what I'm trying to say is we started learning about the vaccine agenda. And can I go biblical for just a second? Book of Revelation.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I came across Revelation 18:23, which is a beautiful and deeply disturbing but interesting verse that I think applies to our modern time. And it basically says, the bride and the groom will no longer rejoice in you, speaking of a particular nation. And I noticed the marriage rate has dropped drastically in America. And then the latter half of that verse is, by your nation's sorceries, all other nations were deceived. But that word sorceries, I think it's the ancient Greek or Hebrew, but I think it was Greek, is pharmakeia. Pharmakeia is where we get our word pharmaceutical from, or pharmaceutical industry. So what industry has been lying to us for the last 3 years and even beyond that? Blew my mind. So I shared that post on my wall. I'm not trying to take away from the room, but if anybody wants to see the post, it's up on my wall. So thanks for having me in here. I know that's a bit of a tangent from what you were on, but that's all. I'm landing the plane. Thanks a lot, brother.
Well, Washington is prepping for the new administration. Fear is growing about President-elect Trump's potential policies here in the Bay Area. One of the incoming president's biggest campaign promises was a plan for mass deportations, possibly on day one. Tonight, false rumors of ICE raids have triggered real panic in many communities. Here's NBC Bay Area's Damian Trujillo with the details.
Story and King Roads here in San Jose has been at the center of false ICE sightings, and it's left a lot of fear in this community. The Tropicana Shopping Center is the heartbeat of the San Jose immigrant community. But last week, it was also the target for many false claims that immigration agents known as ICE were conducting raids.
Sí hay temor. Están preocupados.
America Lopez says the entire community is scared. The LA Times reports that last week, ICE agents did make arrests in Kern County, which led to protests over the weekend in several California cities. The arrests prompted numerous false claims of ICE raids in San Jose and San Francisco, among other places.
Unfortunately, what we did see is that when that scare came out, parents did come to pick up their students.
Alum Rock School Board member Corina Herrera Loera says one false report actually was linked to a SWAT team serving an actual routine arrest warrant, but the action was unrelated to immigration. Others were false social media posts. Loera feels those were meant to trigger community fear among both undocumented and documented immigrants.
Social media posts that are not true, that then get forwarded or texted to friends and family, so it's dangerous.
In Santa Clara County, stakeholders formed what's called a rapid response network, a team that responds to any reported sightings. They'll report back if it's false, and if it's a legitimate ICE operation, they will trigger a chain reaction involving several local agencies, including observers, who will make sure constitutional rights aren't being violated.
Estamos preocupados también yo, pero prefiero.
America says she's one of the worried ones, not knowing if her next text is another false alarm or the real thing. Damian Trujillo, NBC Bay Area News.
In an Action News update, we're learning more about the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol raids that took place here in the Central Valley. Over the past week, dozens of undocumented people were detained, including here in Fresno County. Action News reporter Brisa Colon has the latest information released and the widespread impact felt valley-wide.
This week, U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents conducted unannounced raids of undocumented immigrants in the Central Valley.
The jurisdiction for Custom and Border Protections
is delineated in federal law within 100 miles of the border. Clearly, Kern County and anything north of Kern County is far from 100 miles of the border.
In a press conference Saturday, city, county, state, and federal leaders came together to address the raids. Congressman Jim Costa said the CBP commissioner told him the mission was targeting criminals of drug and human trafficking, and that all 78 of those detained had previous criminal records.
He told me that, in fact, that they had concluded their effort as a result of their arrests as of a day or two ago, and that they would reassess where they would go from there.
State leaders, though, contradicting claims that only criminals were detained.
What we know is that farm workers have been taken into custody, loaded on to vans at gas station stores and also at random traffic stops. And we've been able to verify, because people called our office, we've been able to verify a lot of this information.
These raids stoking fear among uncertain immigrant communities and are already taking a toll on the Valley's agriculture industry.
I have received reports of food processing facilities that have had absences of 15 to 20% here locally, orders that will not be able to be fulfilled.
Fresno Unified is also anticipating an increase in absenteeism as school returns after winter break. Local leaders made clear that local law enforcement resources were not used to assist in these raids.
So this whole issue with immigration, quite frankly, was shocking.
Brisa Colon, ABC 30 Action News.
Hey, Central California, stay up to date with all the most important news and weather. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to ABC 30 Action News.
Our countdown to Inauguration Day continues. We are now just 5 days away, and that means people are picking up their inauguration tickets right now. You're looking at video from earlier today at the Convention Center in downtown D.C. Nearly 250,000 people are expected to attend Monday's inauguration.
And with another Trump administration about to begin, many of our immigrant neighbors wonder if their days are numbered in the U.S. That is because the president-elect has vowed to launch the largest deportation program in the country's history.
Yeah, and tonight our Rafael Sanchez Cruz spoke with an immigration advocacy group here in the DMV about how they are getting ready for what could come next. What are they telling you, Rafa?
Yeah, Lorenzo, Leslie, over the last 2 days, I was in immigrant communities in Maryland and Virginia. Whether that's at the corner store or people on the street, they're talking about Trump's immigration policies. The reality is what those policies could look like is still very vague, but it's the unknown that has some people living in fear.
In 2017, Ingrid, an undocumented immigrant in Northern Virginia, says some of her friends were arrested during what many believe was the first wave of ICE detentions under the Trump administration. They said they were going to get people with a criminal record, but unfortunately, there were people that didn't have a record and were still taken. But ICE is a different story, saying at least 683 immigrants were detained during those enforcements in the DMV region, targeting those with criminal charges. Still, for many in the immigrant community, that period was marked by fear and uncertainty, a feeling that Ingrid says has resurfaced with Trump's upcoming return to the White House. Terror. It passes through my mind, my body, everywhere, because sincerely, we don't know what's going to happen.
We've seen an increase in, calls.
Ama Frimpong is a legal director for CASA, the largest immigration advocacy group in the DMV region.
We're seeing reports that there might be raids even as soon as next week.
The Migration Policy Institute estimates that nearly 500,000 undocumented immigrants live in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia.
We are activating defenders networks so that in the event of a raid, targeted action, whatever it might be, if ICE is present somewhere, we know about it.
CASA says they're providing targeted resources to vulnerable immigrant communities, which include Know Your Rights workshops.
They have these rights regardless of their immigration status, right? And the first one being you have the right to remain silent.
They also emphasize people's rights when it comes to searches and seizures.
Do not let ICE inside your home if they do not have a warrant signed by a judge.
In an interview with the Washington Examiner, Trump's incoming border czar Tom Homan denied that the transition team plans to carry out worksite raids in the D.C. region in the days following the inauguration. But Homan also said sanctuary jurisdictions can expect what he calls collateral arrests. They're walking around with that fear, even to be out in the street. Jose Rafael says he's seen a recent shift among the immigrant community in Alexandria. I don't have that fear because I don't have a criminal record. And Trump said he was going to focus on criminals.
Yeah, I heard that time and time again. People are hoping that those deportations only target criminals. But what Homan has signaled is that if officials find other undocumented immigrants while they're targeting the criminals, they also will be arrested. Leslie?
Yeah, these are some complicated days moving forward for sure, Rafa. Thank you.
Bakersfield residents out in full force today to protest Border Patrol raids right here in Kern County. Take a look at this drone video shot by 17 photojournalist Juan Corona. This all happening this morning on Ming Avenue near the Valley Plaza Mall. The protest was organized by the Rapid Response Network of Kern, an immigrant advocacy group. Dozens of people in attendance waving Mexico flags and signs that read, "Stop deporting the hands that feed you."
A new caravan of migrants is headed to the U.S. Hundreds of people left from southern Mexico early Sunday morning. They include migrants from Venezuela, Honduras, and Peru. It's unclear if they will actually reach the U.S. border. President-elect Trump has pledged to stop migrants from entering the U.S. and stage mass deportations of those already in the country.
And speaking of that, faith leaders in Newark are preparing for potential raids targeting migrants and their families, offering more support ahead of Trump's inauguration.
Zinnia Maldonado spoke with migrants and church leaders about what they plan to do.
With President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration 1 week away, those gathering here inside St. Lucy's Church in Newark say they are amping up support for migrant families ahead of potential mass deportations.
The overall plan is a plan of protection, a plan of standing with.
And those showing up today, not just coming from Newark, but from throughout the tri-state area, sharing a common theme, fear and uncertainty about the next few months.
No se puede dormir tranquilo.
Elsa came from Peru to Brooklyn 20 years ago and tells us those in her community are scared.
Un temor, un miedo.
Mentioning how some parents are now afraid to walk their children to school. Trump's incoming administration has promised to focus heavily on immigration enforcement and has promised to slash funding to states that don't assist with mass deportations.
I think that everyone is nervous about the situation. Incoming administration has already spoke about their plans, but has also already demonstrated.
Faith communities and activists are advocating for policies that protect migrant families and helping them prepare for what could come.
Family preparedness plans, like what would happen if a raid comes into your work or somebody comes knocking into your place? Like, do you have people that will take care of your children, etc.? Do you have all your documents put together?
We're talking about so many people who are critical members of our economy, of our society, who have families, who just want to live healthy, good lives here in the United States and contribute to society.
From Newark, New Jersey, Zinnia Maldonado, CBS News, New York.
Welcome back. President-elect Trump is preparing a series of executive actions related to immigration, some of which we expect him to implement as soon as he's sworn into office, 1 week from today. Incoming border czar Tom Homan sat down for a one-on-one interview with NBC's Gabe Gutierrez at the U.S. southern border. When it comes to implementing President-elect Trump's ambitious plan for mass deportations, Homan wouldn't put a price tag on the effort, but said the $86 billion number that's been floated would be a, quote, great start.
By when do you need that money in order for this to be effective?
The sooner we get the money, the more effective we're going to be. But because there's limited money right now, doesn't mean we're not going to start day one. We'll deal with it as we, we're going to start day one. The president's going to take steps to secure the border day one. We're going to start the national operation day one.
What are some of those steps on day one?
As far as, look, I'm not going to get ahead of the president on this. He's going to be announcing some things on day one. And going to be things you've seen in the past, and there's going to be some new things.
Are we talking about re-implementing Title 42?
I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to get ahead of the president on that.
Should we expect workplace raids?
Yes. I wouldn't call it raid. They're based on investigation. But why do I say that? Number one reason, Where do we find most victims of forced labor? Worksite operations. The Biden administration said they're concerned about trafficking, to include forced labor trafficking, but they stopped worksite enforcement operations. 3.5 decades, that's where we find a lot of victims of forced trafficking.
How soon should we expect the ramping up of workplace roundups?
We'll have to see.
Are we talking around Inauguration Day, even on Inauguration Day?
I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to forecast what we're doing and where we're doing it, but you can count on worksite enforcement coming back.
Do you plan to prosecute public officials who don't help you?
What I would say is, sanctuary cities don't want to help us, that's fine. I think it's wrong, but that's fine, because I would think any elected official would want to remove public safety threats from the communities. But there's a line they can't cross. Now, I've heard things saying we're going to put roadblocks up and not allow you in the city. Well, that's a clear violation of federal law. If you don't want to help us, then don't help us. We're going to do it anyways. You're not going to lock us out of your city. We're going to do this job.
Will there be collateral arrests?
Yes.
So, for example, if you go after a immigrant who has a criminal record, you find him at home, his wife is there. She does not have a criminal record. Does she get arrested?
Is she illegal in the United States?
If she is. If she's undocumented, does she get arrested too?
Yes. She'll be processed, and we'll let the immigration judge decide what happens to her. They all have a right to see an immigration judge.
Grandma, for example, does she get arrested as well?
She in the country legally?
Yes.
Then she'll be put in front of the immigration judge too. It's not okay to be in this country illegally. It's not okay to violate laws and cross that border. It's going to be based on the specifics of each case and each person we encounter.
Discretion for each ICE agent. That gives a lot of power to each ICE agent.
Yes. Shouldn't they have that power? I mean, you give an officer the ability to take a life if he has to. We should give him the discretion on does this arrest serve the mission, and does this arrest serve the nation?
Should birthright citizenship come to an end?
I'll leave that up to the president to make that decision.
But what's your opinion? Do you think it should?
I'll say this, birthright citizenship is a major driver of illegal immigration. And that's what the whole controversy is about right now, right? If you come in the country legally, which is a crime, you get ordered, you lose your hearing, the federal judge says you must go home, or you don't show up in court and you get what they call an order in absentia, order removed, and have a U.S. citizen child. People think they should be immune. The law means nothing to you now because you knew you're in the country legally. You chose to have an illegal alien. You chose to have a U.S. citizen child, knowing you're in the country legally, knowing you're ordered deported, and you went and made that decision. That's on you.
What would you say to potentially Trump supporters, Trump voters, farmers, ranchers who employ undocumented immigrants as part of their industry? Should they be worried that their workforce is going to leave?
I would tell you, wait and see what we do with worksite enforcement before you make that judgment. There's a legal way to bring in agricultural workers in this country. If it needs to be expanded, if the Department of Labor can say that we don't have the workforce to do it, then it's up to Congress to make a fix. But right now, we're going to force the law as is.
Will mass deportation hurt the economy?
I think mass deportation and results of mass deportation are more important to this country than anything. I don't put a price on Laken Riley's life. I don't put a price on all these young women who have been raped and murdered. I don't put a price on our national security. What price do you put on national security? So I think the national security of this nation, we can't afford another 9/11. We can't keep affording American citizens dying at the hands of illegal aliens.
You have mentioned that there could be a hotline for people to call in to report undocumented immigrants in their communities.
It's one thing we're considering, yeah.
One thing you're considering. What would that look like?
That's what we're working on it now. What makes sense? That's still a fresh idea, working on it. But I want a place where American citizens can call and report. We need to make sure they have an outlet to help report child traffickers, forced labor traffickers. We want to give them an opportunity to be a part of the fix.
Do you plan to separate families?
Families, I've said it before. Families can be, if a family needs to be deported, if members of the family needs to be deported, then that parent needs to make a decision. Again, having your citizen child shouldn't be an amnesty card. They put themselves in that position. So if there's an illegal alien parent it's going to be deported, he has a U.S. citizen child, then he needs to make a decision as a parent. You put yourself in that position so you can be a parent, the child go with you to your homeland, or the child can stay with a relative or another spouse. But again, I am not putting myself in that position. The president they put themselves in that position. Having a U.S. citizen child does not give you immunity from this nation's laws.
And joining me now is NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez. Gabe, terrific work on this interview. Does ICE have enough money to go through with its mass deportation plan?
Hi there, Ryan. Not even close. As we've reported, according to two U.S. officials familiar with the figure, ICE is already dealing with a $230 million budget shortfall. And just a few weeks ago, Ryan, we saw firsthand near Baltimore ICE agents tracking down these targeted enforcement operations, and more than a dozen agents were required to just arrest 5 people. So you can imagine how many resources will be necessary. We spoke with Tom Homan for quite a bit. Donald Trump has called him straight out of central casting. He's the former acting ICE director during the first Trump administration, former ICE agent himself. And he also talked about a sort of expansionist foreign policy. He also mentioned to us, Ryan, that the incoming administration plans to shut down the Darien Gap. That's that 70-mile stretch of jungle in Panama that so many migrants cross en route to the U.S. Certainly, all around, a very ambitious agenda when it comes to immigration, Ryan.
He may be one of the most important people in the incoming Trump administration, and Gabe Gutierrez asked him the tough questions. Gabe, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Now to immigration in Kern County. In recent days, reports of a surge in raids of undocumented residents have been circulating on social media. 17's Jenny Hutt joins us now live in studio with the details. Jenny?
Bakersfield Police tells us they were notified by the Department of Homeland Security and Border Patrol that they would be conducting operations in Kern County this week.
What we're hearing is that the CBP pulling cars over and profiling folks. They're reported being seen at like the most transient site for farm workers.
CBP is Customs and Border Protection. Sightings of Border Patrol activities is being reported all over Kern County, from Maricopa to the downtown Gap bus station, even door to door and on freeways. But this Chevron off 7 Standard and Merle Haggard saw arrests firsthand.
Well, we usually get our normal people in here coming in. They buy their food, they go to work, and they were field workers. And as soon as they paid their food and everything, they went outside. And as soon as they went outside, they grabbed them. They started taking their belongings. They were all laughing while their food was getting thrown away.
They, as in Border Patrol agents. Employee Candy Garcia tells 17 News. Garcia says the agents, many undercover, parked right outside and took away 2 vanfuls of people. She says they'll likely be back
because they were here doing that yesterday at McDonald's.
She and the gas station owner say it's no coincidence the agents targeted their Chevron.
And none of the other stores got hit except for this one because it's like the bigger one. This is where almost everybody comes in.
99% they are farmer workers. They are my regular customer, my regular bread and butter.
Dylan says it's to the extent that most of the food he serves is Mexican cuisine.
What happened today, it is the first time I hear it. I'm a permanent legal person. And I'm scared too.
If they looked Hispanic or like they worked in the fields or, you know, they looked a little dirty, they would ask for their papers.
Witnesses also say agents checked paperwork in the parking lot.
They approach the person in her car, and when she refused to get out, they try to block her in by refusing her car to move.
And after checking this individual's paperwork, the agents headed out. When asked if there are any ongoing operations in Kern, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE referred 17 News to CBP. CBP is separate from ICE. The sightings in Kern have been of Border Patrol agents. In California, local law enforcement cannot assist ICE or other such federal bodies on immigration matters. Sheriff Donnie Youngblood says KCSO is not involved with any current operations that may be ongoing.
We are a few days away from the new administration taking office, and this is in fact what they threaten with.
Now, we did hear back from CBP a little after 4. They tell us they're working on a media statement, and will get that to us in the coming hours or days. We'll see. Jenny Hutt, 17 News.
Developing tonight, hundreds of people gathered near Blackstone and Nees in North Fresno today to protest the recent detainment of 78 undocumented migrants in Fresno and Kern counties. Action News reporter Vince Ibarra joins us live from that area where the 12-hour protest just wrapped up. Vince.
Well, Nick, it was a very long day for people out here. Organizers say they started gathering around 9 this morning, and protesters we spoke with say it was important for them to be out here to speak up and share their voice for people who didn't feel like they have a voice.
My dad got deported about like 3 or 4 times, and it was really hard the last time he got deported.
Vanessa Gonzalez is one of hundreds who were protesting on Sunday near Blackstone and Nees in North Fresno. Gonzalez's father died after he was deported to Mexico. She says she's heartbroken that her children won't be able to meet their grandfather. When her father was deported, it left her mother, Linda Tabarez, with little help raising her children.
It left me as a single mom with my 6 kids. I struggled, you know. I struggled to be with them, and I struggled to see them hurt because all they'll say is, "I want my dad."
Hundreds of protesters flocked to the area early Sunday morning, waving Mexican and American flags, as well as signs in support of immigration rights. This protest comes after 78 undocumented migrants were detained in Fresno and Kern County last week. According to the Border Patrol, all of those detained had criminal histories, but state leaders are contradicting that claim. In a press conference on Saturday, lawmakers say farm workers were also among those targeted.
Even though they don't have a voice, there's someone that does and will represent them.
As the sun set, protesters were still seen waving their flags, chanting, and even dancing near the busy North Fresno intersection. Action News reached out to the Fresno Police Department. They were unavailable for an on-camera interview, but did say they have officers monitoring the area to make sure people are exercising their constitutional rights safely.
This is an example of what we're like all across California and the United States. We're just sometimes in the shadows, but when it's time to fight back, it just, it makes me really emotional that people are finally fighting back.
Flor Martinez Zaragoza is an activist from San Jose. She was recently in Bakersfield for a protest when she was alerted about the gathering happening in Fresno. She says she's inspired by the younger generation who are pushing this movement of immigration rights forward and fighting for those who feel like they don't have a voice. And Martinez Zaragoza expects more protests to pop up across the state as we get closer to the presidential inauguration. Live in North Fresno, I'm Vince Ibarra, ABC 30 Action News.
Hey, Central California, stay up to date with all the latest news and weather. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to ABC 30 Action News.
The operation begins before dawn. Agents with ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, who asked us to conceal their identities, gearing up at a parking lot in suburban Boston. We're along for the ride.
We don't do large-scale roundups. Every individual that's here today has come to our attention because they've been arrested by a local municipality for a felony or an egregious crime.
So after several hours of waiting, they've just found one of their targets, and we're on the move. When we arrive, we see an immigrant from the Dominican Republic who ICE says is here illegally and is a convicted sex offender. He tells me he came to the U.S. for a better way of life and denies the charges against him. He's led away in handcuffs. ICE agents have been watching this particular subject for at least a week. On this day, it took about 16 ICE agents to arrest 5 immigrants who ICE says are undocumented, have criminal records, and had been released on bail by local jurisdictions instead of being turned over to ICE, each requiring 40 to 80 hours of surveillance beforehand. Do you have enough resources to do this?
No, we don't. And that's one of the problems that, when jurisdictions don't cooperate with us, we have to go out into the community, which puts our officers at risk.
But these are the waning days of the Biden administration. President-elect Trump won, pledging to do much more, including mass deportations. And after Democratic city and state officials vowed to block Trump's deportation plan, incoming border czar Tom Homan is doubling down with this warning.
If they cross that line and knowingly harboring concealed illegal alien, well, I'm going to seek prosecution.
I am concerned of what a mass deportation would look like for
Attorney Valerie Napier is an immigrant advocate who says calls to her clinic have tripled since Trump was reelected.
What do you say to those people who voted for Donald Trump and wanted a crackdown in the immigration system?
Not everyone is a criminal.
We pressed ICE about its current mission. There are some who fear that ICE will also arrest immigrants that are here that may not have criminal records. To that, you say what?
So that, what we are focused on is obviously public safety, national security threats. But then there are those too that have exhausted all legal means. In the end, they've been ordered legally removed from the United States, and we'll go ahead and effect those removal orders.
2 U.S. officials tell NBC News that even before any mass deportation plans, ICE is already facing a budget shortfall of $230 million.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
We're going to take steps to secure the border.
President-elect Trump's incoming border czar Tom Homan tells us mass deportation will include workplace roundups.
Are we talking around Inauguration Day, even on Inauguration Day?
I'm not going to forecast what we're doing and where we're doing it, but you can count on worksite enforcement coming back.
Will mass deportation hurt the economy?
I think mass deportation and results of mass deportation are more important to this country than anything. We're going to protect the national security of this country.
ICE agents have told us they prioritize arresting undocumented immigrants with criminal records. Critics have asked, what about undocumented family members?
Will there be collateral arrests?
Yes. It's not okay to be in this country illegally.
He's also promising to close Panama's Darien Gap, which migrants cross on the way to the U.S.
We want to shut the Darien Gap down.
Would you work with the Panamanian government? Would you send the U.S. military to shut it down?
We're always going to work with the foreign government. But it needs to happen. We're going to save thousands of lives.
At a shelter in Tijuana, Mexico, we found worried migrants struggling to schedule initial asylum screenings on the Biden administration's phone app, an app that Homan now wants to eliminate.
Creating programs to allow thousands of people in this country a week that we don't properly vet and that we know don't qualify is not the answer.
Homan's also working on creating a hotline where Americans can report undocumented immigrants who've committed a crime.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
In the coming weeks, the Department of Homeland Security is planning to step up the arrest and deportation of undocumented immigrants whose asylum claims have been denied. Many asylum seekers said they had fled violence in Central America. The deportations will most immediately affect some 50,000 migrants arrested crossing the southwest U.S. border between last October and this March. Reuters reporter Julia Edwards, who covers Homeland Security, broke the story this week, and she joins me now from Washington to discuss it. Julia, these raids are coming in response to a surge of people coming from Central America. Who's coming and why the surge?
So we know that women and children, some traveling together, some children traveling without a guardian, have been coming up from the 3 countries in Central America they call the Northern Triangle. That would be Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. They're escaping poverty. As we know, there's been extreme drought in that region this year. And they're also escaping violence. There are drug cartels who have really made living conditions very poor in these places. And so since 2014, we really began to see a surge of people coming across the border up through Mexico, taking very dangerous journeys, often paying human smugglers exorbitant prices just to get them across the border. But we saw a bit of a dip in 2015. The Department of Homeland Security thought that they had more or less gotten this problem under control by trying to get the message back to Central America that illegal immigrants could not stay in the United States. However, at the end of last year and coming up until about last March, the latest numbers we have available, there's actually been a surge again.
There were raids like this in January. So these raids that are going to happen in the next month or so, or allegedly going to happen in the next month or so, how are they expected to be different?
So the raids in January were just over 2 days. It was January 2nd and 3rd, and they focused on 3 states. That was Texas, Georgia, and North Carolina. These raids are to take place over a 30-day period nationwide. And a document that went out to the field offices, it explained to each enforcement field office to go ahead and take inventory of who was in their field, who had already gotten a final order of deportation. And that's a point that the White House has really tried to drive home as well, is that these are people who have actually gone through the court system, their cases have been heard, they were not granted asylum, and a judge has ordered them to have deportation. In January, it was 121 women and children who were arrested. This time, we're likely to see many more than that.
Once people are apprehended, where do they go? How long is the process?
So we know that in January, when ICE agents came to the doors of these families, often in the early morning hours, arrested them, they brought them to detention facilities. There's one very notable one in Dilley, Texas, where women and children were kept while they could be processed. There's a bit of back and forth that goes on there while they're at the detention facility. If they are approved, they will then be put onto planes and deported back.
The two candidates running for the Democratic ticket have criticized the Obama administration's strategy here. How does the administration defend it?
So White House spokesman Josh Earnest yesterday was asked about how do you defend this policy, and what he really stuck to is the fact that it's in the president's priorities to deport people who are recent arrivals. And in this case, that's people who have arrived after January 1st, 2014. That date is important because, of course, we saw a surge start around 2014. And at the same time that Obama laid out his immigration executive action in November of 2014, we saw that there was another caveat to that while he was going to protect some people from deportation, there were other people who were priorities for deportations, and that was criminal aliens, and then it's also new arrivals. It's sort of part of the strategy of we can't deport everyone who's here, that's 11 million people, but we want to try to at least secure our borders and send a message that no, you cannot come to the United States illegally and expect to stay.
Julia Edwards from Reuters, thank you for sharing your reporting.
Thank you.
And now this afternoon, as fear of Border Patrol continues to spread through our community, we have video of agents arresting an American citizen, a business owner, who says the agents slashed his tires before they handcuffed him. Our Cecilia Trevino has been on the story all week and brings us more.
This video, recorded by Ernesto Campos, a United States citizen, shows federal agents detaining him after slashing his tires.
I don't know why he popped my tires. He already have my reason. He already have my license. Yeah, but you did something that made the truck was off. The window was open like that. I'm not trying to argue with you, man. Okay. You did it for a reason.
44-year-old and father of four, Ernesto Campos has lived in the U.S. for 30 years and became a citizen over a decade ago. He's lived in Bakersfield for over 20 years and owns a landscaping business with 4 employees.
Íbamos manejando hacia un trabajo.
He was driving to work when an unmarked car turned its patrol lights on. Campos says he stopped, turned off his car, and gave agents his driver license. But when he wouldn't give them his car keys, they slashed his tires.
Bájale poquito.
Campos tells his co-worker, Isaías Alejandro, to roll down the window a little, which he does.
Okay, I'm gonna have to break your window. Do you understand? That's your fault. I'm gonna have to break the window if you do not open it.
The agent then demands the door be opened and the passenger, Alejandro, to step out of the car to be detained.
He's in the process and immigration. He have a lawyer and
oh, abogado.
Yeah.
Okay, lawyer. That's good.
The agent collects Alejandro's belongings.
You stand by. I gotta run your ID. Okay?
Yeah, right.
You cannot take off. Just
I'm not taking on, man.
Campos complains to the agent about slashing his tires.
You have my license. Why I'm gonna take off?
I'm not gonna argue with you, boss.
So
you did what you did. I did what I did. That's all it is.
Then Campos was detained.
You're under arrest right now for alien smuggling. Actual federal felony. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, if you resist, we will have a fight. Is that what you want?
Campos tries to explain Alejandro has an ongoing immigration case.
Hey,
the guy.
I already let you talk. You already admitted to me. You're transporting someone that's illegal.
But the guy have a case.
Campos was detained for 4 hours and then released when his citizenship was confirmed. He says he's still coping with the situation, and only half of his employees showed up to work after the raids. In Bakersfield, Cecilia Trevino, 17 News.
Meanwhile, tonight, immigration leaders are trying to help as they wait for President-elect Donald Trump to follow through on his promise of mass deportations.
The founder of the Benito Juarez Foundation says people are on alert now as they fear deportation. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias joins us live from our state capitol tonight. And Roxanne, what are you hearing from organizations?
Well, Laura, what we're hearing is there is widespread panic tonight among undocumented communities. One father telling us today his kids are afraid that he may be picked up by ICE any day now.
And there are farmers
numbers today in this country.
With just days left until President Donald Trump takes office again, organizations are showing their support to people who were undocumented amid his promise of mass deportations.
Dicen que vienen por criminales, pero
Carlos Gallardo, an undocumented father, says they say they're coming for criminals, but they're taking anyone who is in the way of immigration. And that's not fair, separating families. Yes, it's not fair. Not all of us are criminals. Gallardo owns Arelis Tacos in Sacramento, which he runs 7 days a week to support his family. He says his children are scared he'll be deported and have asked him not to go to work. The fear also comes after Customs and Border Patrol carried out an operation recently in the Bakersfield area where people were detained. It led to false reports on social media of ICE sightings in places like Modesto, Stockton, and Lodi.
Right, but also what's to come. You know, there's a lot of fear, and there's constant reporting that, yes, we're going to come in and do mass deportations. And so the fear is very real in our communities. You know, we have many students that don't even want to go to school. So the school.
Ramona Landeros is the founder of the Benito Juarez Foundation in Sacramento. She believes schools and grocery stores will be impacted. That's if farm workers stop working the fields, which she says is already happening in Bakersfield. On Friday, she says they delivered a letter to the office of Congresswoman Doris Matsui, representing California's 7th District.
What we're asking is that they close down these privatized detention centers that are holding people there. And, you know, this is, again, separating families. And so we're really opposed to that. We're really opposed to the raids that are going to happen.
Undocumented immigrants like Gallardo say they're scared to see what is to come as he continues his legalization process. Gallardo says if they're coming for criminals, that's fine, but not working families. That's not right.
We reached out to Customs and Border Patrol along with ICE to ask the details of any operations they may be leading. We are still waiting to hear back from them for any clarification. I'm live in Sacramento. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Okay, Roxanne, thank you for that report.
Democrats struggle with their identity now as a party post-election. We'll find out if they're still clinging to that open border policy.
Why are you talking about an identity crisis? The Republican conference is filled with marauding bands of individuals who can't stand each other. And Democrats, as far as I can tell, are unified in our determination to make life better for the American people.
Marauding bands. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries hitting back yesterday after Speaker Mike Johnson accused Democrats of struggling with party identity after the 2024 election, not really knowing what it is. Meanwhile, NBC News has exclusive reporting that the incoming Trump administration is actively considering carrying out a high-profile raid targeting undocumented immigrants in the D.C. area. 3 people familiar with the discussions reveal the raid could take place within days of Trump taking office to send a message. Joining us now, one of the reporters who broke the story, NBC News Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley. Julia, good morning. So what more can you tell us about what the Trump team's considering here?
Well, Willie, of course, nothing is final yet, but we know that they're in discussions to try to figure out what resources they have to carry out workplace raids in the D.C. area. That could be in Maryland, D.C. proper, or in Northern Virginia. They could target a number of sectors. They're looking at things like agriculture, hospitality, and healthcare. This is to carry out what would be a shock and awe first operation, and it could be done, Willie, as soon as the inauguration day. This is because, of course, the president campaigned on making, or the incoming president campaigned on making this the largest deportation operation in American history, and he wants something to show for it when he comes into office. But workplace raids are historically very expensive and logistically difficult. They take a long time to plan, so that when ICE barges into a workplace and starts arresting people who they suspect to be living and working in the U.S. illegally, they know exactly who they're arresting and they don't make mistakes. So some current officials I've spoken to say they actually worry about the risk here if they try to take an action like this too early.
So, Julia, we've heard from Tom Homan, who is going to be Trump's border czar or immigration czar, whatever the title is exactly, who has said we are going to target criminals, hardened criminals first, that it's going to be a very difficult task to deport, as Donald Trump has promised some 11 million people here illegally. But how does that work exactly? What does that look like as a practical question?
Well, Willie, I think this reporting shows that they can't only target, they can only arrest the people who are the biggest threats. If they're looking at workplace raids, for example, most of the people who would be working in those places wouldn't be these hardened criminals that they want to go after. And if they're going to do a big sweep like that, of course they're going to be picking up people who have committed no other crime other than being in this country and working here without authorization. These could be families. There could be fathers who are deported while their children are at school when you're talking about a workplace raid. Now, we do know that there are over 400,000 people on ICE's non-detained docket. That means they're at large in the United States. Some of them could be serving time in prison who do have criminal convictions of some kind. So obviously they would want to start looking at that population. There are also people who already have final orders of deportation. They've exhausted all of their remedies for asylum or any other kind of benefit, and they were told by a judge to leave the country. That's who they want to target. But this kind of discussion really illuminates the fact that there is also a very strong voice within the incoming administration to say, cast the net as wide as you can and boost those deportation numbers, Willie.
Yeah, this was a key promise of Donald Trump during the campaign. It looks like he wants to deliver on it right away. Julia, you talked to the current ICE director about the Biden administration's handling of the immigration issue. What did he tell you?
Yeah, Willie, this was a really surprising and candid interview. This is outgoing acting ICE Director P.J. Lechleitner, who sat down with me and told me about some of the frustrations. He thinks that the current administration could have been more transparent and forthcoming on the immigration issue, and frankly, that Biden may have taken action too late to solve the border crisis. This is someone who's been with DHS since its inception. He's a 30-year career in law enforcement, served Republicans and Democrats. I think some of his remarks here are really enlightening. Take a listen. We saw millions of immigrants come across the border, and I know you're not focused on the border, but you're focused on the ramifications.
We're related to it.
Sure. A lot of that came down. Those numbers drastically fell, especially starting in June when the new executive action went into place. Do you think that Biden should have taken that action earlier?
Yes.
Why?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, he should have. The administration should have taken that action earlier, and I think the career people in DHS would have liked that, and all of us in DHS, quite frankly. I don't know if anybody in DHS wouldn't have wanted that earlier. Maybe there's some counselors here or there that don't like this kind of stuff, but law enforcement is always going to be on that side where we want, some tighter controls. Because for a while there, you remember, it was 10,000 plus.
Biden had an exit interview this week where he was asked about his regrets, and he did not mention the border. Does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me, but it's unfortunate because I think we could have done more.
What specifically?
We could have put more resources to it, either at CBP and for the border itself and with ICE. And we could have went and tried to get more of these individuals who are on the non-detained docket. And we could have detained more people, and we could have removed more people. And I think we could use more resources and support. And we could have done that in the last, 4 years.
Is it possible to increase your number of deportations under your current resources?
Under our current resources, no. Because we're basically we're burnt, like I mentioned before, we're burning hot. We're at maximum resource capacity. At this point, we're going to need more money and resources to increase. And with more money and resources, we can increase detention. We can increase removal operations. Listen, there's still a whole immigration process, so people have to go through and you go through and get some benefit that comes out of it, and asylum, you name it, or you're ordered removed, and it has you go through the immigration proceedings and go through there. But with more resources, with more money, we can do more.
So a very candid conversation. We should say that was Leck Leitner speaking from his own opinions. That's not the view of this administration, and we're reaching out to the White House for comment. But what this shows is that, for a lot of people who are career DHS, there was some frustration and really a thinking that they were doing a lot of work that wasn't being recognized because, at least in Leck Leitner's opinion, the Biden administration wasn't doing more. And also to talk about it. And also when you talk about those resources, that's when he's looking at a new administration who's promising mass deportations. He says unless they have more money, it's really not possible.
What a fascinating interview, because you have an ICE director saying now publicly to you, Julia, what we've heard privately from them for several years. NBC News Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley. Julia, thanks so much for bringing it to us. We appreciate it.
President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration is in only 11 days. Mr. Trump has said his day one priority will be the mass deportation of undocumented immigrants. As a result, school districts nationwide are preparing for ICE agents to potentially round up students. New York City, home to the country's largest school district, has been sharing protocols to try and shield kids. News Nation weekend anchor Anna Koyman is here. Anna, can ICE agents actually go into schools and snatch up kids?
Okay, so of course you're referring to agents from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Nick. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody at home. And that's really the question. So right now, superintendents and immigration advocacy groups are anxiously awaiting to see how fast and how far Trump's mass deportation plans will go. Could ICE agents be coming into schools, rounding up kids whose families are living in this country illegally? And how would this impact other students watching all of this unfold? Well, News Nation spoke to the president of the largest teachers union in the Southeast. Here's what she said about those possibilities.
We know that families and communities and children are anxious, and this creates another level of anxiety and vulnerability in our classrooms and in our communities. It is certainly a topic that, although it may not be talked about publicly, it's certainly happening in kitchen tables and, in dining room tables.
But what I'd really like our viewers to do is take a look at our screen now, because a 2011 memo from the then ICE director, John Morton, talked about implementing a more restrained approach to immigration enforcement, saying, quote, "This policy is designed to ensure that these enforcement actions do not occur at nor are focused on sensitive locations such as schools and churches unless exigent circumstances exist." That would be like an immediate threat or if prior legal approval had been given. But still, Nick, with these details foggy about how Trump's deportation plans will be carried out, we've got school districts across the country, particularly those with large migrant populations, really on high alert on this and gearing up.
Yeah, and what are school officials saying?
Well, we did speak with a superintendent for Mount Diablo schools. That's in Concord, California. And he said just the idea of all this is really becoming a distraction inside the classroom. Also, other programs that they would prefer to be delegating resources to are every so often taking a back seat to this very issue. Dr. Adam Clark says that his job is to alert staff, give them information, but also let families who are migrants here in this country know what their rights are.
It can impact a 5, 6, 7-year-old on the playground, by kids just mimicking what they hear, but then also by our 16, 17, 18-year-olds who, are ready to make this next step into real life, and they may be worried about their own status or status of their parents or of a sibling or other relatives or friends or things like that.
He said it could be really unsettling also for immigrants in this country who are legal. They just might not have their papers on them. Now, I do want to mention I spoke to the incoming border czar, Tom Homan, on my weekend programming a few weeks ago. And he said, yes, these deportations are going to begin on day one. They will be starting with violent criminals. Of course, kids inside classrooms, Nick, are not violent criminals. But as far as ICE agents coming into classrooms, it's yet to be seen. So we're following the story, and the details will be unfolding for sure.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
News of immigration raids in the Central Valley are sparking fear among farm workers across the Bay Area. ABC 7 News reporter Luz Pena went to the San Mateo County coast to find out how nonprofits are helping undocumented immigrants respond in case of potential raids here.
An unexpected 3-day Border Patrol operation in the Central Valley is amplifying fear in the San Mateo County coast. You work at a mushroom farm here. ¿Y cómo estás? How are you?
Es un poco preocupado, ¿no? Por la que está pasando ahorita en migración.
I'm a little worried with what's happening right now with immigration. This farm worker, who did not want to be identified, said everyone at the farm he works at is on edge. Last week, Border Patrol agents showed up in unmarked vehicles and arrested 78 undocumented immigrants in Fresno and Kern counties. Agents said their mission was targeted at criminals, but nonprofits are concerned this may be an excuse, as they've heard families were also arrested, and they're worried the same could happen here.
Some people moved out of the area, and you can see, we were at the store and there was nobody around. There's a lot of concern. There's a lot of fear.
Joaquin Jimenez, former mayor of Half Moon Bay, distributed hundreds of these red cards, listing out the rights undocumented immigrants should know in case an immigration agent confronts them.
They have work permit, but that does not prevent from ICE to detain them.
According to county records, there are over 2,500 farm workers in San Mateo County. The agricultural industry generates over $100 million a year here, a number that could be highly impacted if immigration raids happen here. In Pescadero, the nonprofit Puente is assembling a group of attorneys to hold an immigration workshop on Wednesday.
Even if you don't have documents, you do still have rights. And so for people to understand their rights, you should not run. That's really important. But you also have the right to stay quiet. You don't have to answer the questions.
Puente is also using this app to text farm workers in case of a raid.
We would let the community know using this text tool that we have.
In the meantime, some farm workers are afraid to go back to work.
Llega para acá también.
We're hoping that they don't come here. In Half Moon Bay, Luz Pena, ABC 7 News.
We start with this, though. President-elect Trump has said he will move swiftly to implement mass deportations after he takes office.
Brooke here right now with reaction to this plan. Brooke.
Yes, so President-elect Trump ran on a crackdown, a platform of a crackdown, an incoming crackdown on undocumented immigrants. That vow has left many immigrants frightened and confused. People are expressing their concerns on social media.
Y'all didn't punish Kamala Harris by not voting for her. Y'all punish people like me.
My immigrant mother just called me on the phone innocently asking me if she should start carrying her passport in case they start doing mass deportations to prove that she's a citizen.
His newly appointed border czar, Tom Homan, said yesterday the Trump administration will prioritize deporting people who are living in the country illegally and pose a threat to public safety. He also says officials will increase workplace raids as a part of a crackdown on labor and sex trafficking. Immigration attorney Jose Osorio believes that Trump's immigration plans will cause mass confusion.
One of the plans is job site raids. And if it gets to that point, people will be caught up in the system, and how will they know who's an immigrant and who's not?
Osorio says with so much uncertainty, people need to get their documents in order, have proof of family ties and work authorization, or any document that shows permission to be in the country. As for California, Governor Newsom has called a special session of the legislature to safeguard the state's immigration policies, and Attorney General Rob Bonta has vowed to defend those policies in court. Back to you.
Wow, that's more than usual.
The governor would be disappointed.
We're in for a show today.
The governor would be disappointed if I didn't have my cards. Do you know?
Step up and hold those for you while you're doing it.
Yes. Sheriff Ivey and I put bad guys in jail. Our criminal justice system holds them accountable, and the federal government lets them into your neighborhood to rob and pillage and steal and rape and murder. Our governor is a leader. He's saying, look, the people of the state of Florida, the people of the United States of America elected Donald Trump because Donald Trump said he was going to fix this illegal immigration issue, and our top priority is the illegal immigrants in this country that are committing crime. So I want to give you just a quick snapshot of why our governor is saying Florida needs to set the example for the other states to support the president to get rid of these criminals who are victimizing our people. How about Edie Grandos? He's not only here illegally, he killed a 21-year-old. He was leaving the scene of a crash, no driver's license, in Homeland, Florida. Think about that for a minute. We had another instance where we arrested a guy 4 times for no driver's license, and ICE never deported him. Oh, that's minor. And then he ran over someone on a scooter and killed them. Had he been deported for violating the law, that person riding the scooter would be alive and well today. And then there's Elmer Kennel. He's 24. 2 people died, and a 18-year-old high school girl will be injured with issues forever because he was here illegally from Guatemala, caused a car crash, and 2 people died. This is a snapshot. We could give you hundreds. Dorito Casto, he was deported 2 times. He came back, he had a crash on 1792, DUI manslaughter, after he was already deported 2 times. How about Ernesto Morales, who's 32? His hit and run killed a 5-year-old little girl when he ran into the rear end of her car on Highway 60. How about Arnaldo Paz, who's 39? He murdered a 74-year-old lady in Polk City. None of these people should have been here to have created these crashes and murdered these people. How about Juan Orgozo? He's 36, attempted murder. He did a home invasion and told the lady, "Shut up or I'll kill you." She was there. As the governor said, they didn't care that that someone was there. They wanted to go in and steal stuff. And then there's the Frostproof murder by Miguel Cazame, who's 47. Now, folks, that should shock your conscience. But how about this? We have one of our victims here today. Professional criminals out of Venezuela. They were arrested in New York, in the city, in the state, and not held accountable. They ended up here. They're very good, very experienced, very professional criminals. They would go to restaurants, and they focused on our Asian residents and business people. They would photograph the restaurant inside and out. They would identify the owners. They would stalk them back and forth to their homes. And when they patterned them, then they would break into their homes and steal and steal and steal. Of the 9 cases we charged these folks with initially, 7 of them were our Asian American friends. They were here illegally. The Biden administration didn't care. We talked about that. Now we've got a governor who said, look, the people have voted and we want to get ahead. We want to set a state model. Our Senate and our House are the best in the nation, and they're led by professionals that I have the highest respect for. We have to come together and set the state model that supports the federal model so that we get the illegal criminals out of this country. Now, what's interesting about that, Governor, is the federal regulations as they currently are, the 287G and the housing, short-term and the housing long-term, are full of strings that are woke left. So adopting, we're going to support these federal legislations in their current form is absolutely a non-starter, unacceptable. The Trump administration has to immediately go from top to bottom in those regulations and get rid of that stuff. What we have to do, and our governor is setting the leadership, our Senate and our House will set the leadership, is say, hey, we in Florida are going to support what the voters of this state and the other states said, and we're going to craft policy that mandates for those that want to ride the fence that you actively get engaged in getting these criminals out of our community. I'll close with this. Governor, I still can't imagine why people think more of illegal aliens committing crime than they do honest, law-abiding citizens of the state of Florida and the United States of America. I don't understand that. But we've got a governor that says we're going to look out for the law-abiding citizens, for the children, for the good people of the state of Florida. We're going to set the model for the other states to follow. Our legislators who are brilliant, our leadership in the legislature is brilliant. We're going to make sure that we just don't carte blanche accept the federal positions because it's full of woke craziness. I mean, there's one provision if you are going to house these illegal immigrants that have committed crime long-term for the federal government, you've got to ask the person, do you identify as a male or a female, and who would you like to search you on the way in the jail? And we've got to have medical check you 3 times a week, and blah, you know, just gag me with it. That's the craziness that's written into the legislation. So listen, those of you that are writing for the Trump administration, get that crap out and let us do what we do best. The law enforcement officers of the state of Florida will do their job. Our governor is the leader. Our governor is saying, now's the time and we're the place to set the example of how we can protect people and keep them safe in the free state of Florida. And I leave with this message: southbound and down. Do it yourself. You can self-deport and avoid a lot of prison sentence. But it's time, southbound and down. Thank you, Governor.
All right, more visual aids than normal. So we got our